Well, Sonia, we got some more details about the case itself during that press conference this morning, and then we also learned more information about the timing as well as where things stand in that investigation into those officers that you mentioned that are on leave. Now, this all started on Sunday when Marvin Scott was arrested outside the Allen Outlet Mall for misdemeanor possession of marijuana after security was called about the smell. Now, Scott was first brought to the jail. The sheriff says that Scott exhibited some strange behavior, and the sheriff says detention officers tried to secure him to a restraint bed. While doing so, they used pepper spray once, the sheriff said, and they placed what's called a spit hood over Scott's face. The sheriff says those are used to prevent individuals from spitting on officers. Scott became unresponsive on the restraint bed, and then he was taken to Baylor McKinney, where he later died. Now, the Collin County Sheriff said he immediately called the Texas Rangers to begin investigating. And then the next day, on Monday, the sheriff announced that he placed the captain, lieutenant, 2 sergeants, and 3 detention officers on administrative leave, and that he also began an internal investigation into Scott's death, so that's parallel to the Texas Rangers investigation. On Tuesday, the sheriff said he met with Scott's family and attorney and tried to answer any and all questions. And then last night, we saw protesters who marched through the visitor center and set up a campfire in the road that leads down to the Sally Port. They vowed to keep blocking the entrance to the Sally Port until the jailers are arrested themselves. And the sheriff addressed this today, asking for the community to be patient.
Section 511.021 of the Texas Government Code requires me to refer the matter of an in-custody death to another law enforcement agency independent of my office. I fully and immediately met this responsibility by promptly referring the matter of Mr. Scott's death to the Texas Rangers. So given these circumstances, it is not my role to criminally investigate nor arrest the personnel that I placed on administrative leave. I pray that we are all committed to the same end, to learn the truth and then make the right, not rushed decisions.
Meanwhile, attorney Lee Merritt says that Scott was having a mental health crisis and that Allen police officers did not do enough to help it. So again, the Texas Rangers are investigating. 7 officers are on leave, and as this moves forward, we'll stay on top of it and let you know once more details are released.